Greetings, Commander.
Greetings. How's it going?
It's going all right, man. I should warn you, I am filming this because it's story time. So nice to meet you. How's it going? Do you go by Crack Chicken? Is that the name?
Yes. Crack Chicken was my art name originally.
Okay, so I'm doing this new segment. I haven't
Hmm.
quite figured out how I'm doing it, but I'm going to be calling it maybe Zen Town Heroes. I'm trying to get perspectives from players in the game and document history as it goes down. Preferably good stories, not necessarily server drama. But to preface this conversation, I know this has a lot to do with Char Char, Badger, SR1, and the merge that happened on your server. So
I don't I don't think it was a merger, it was a migration.
okay, so we'll call it a migration. So you're okay. So tell everyone who you are.
I'm Crack Chicken from 891. And when I originally first started playing this game, I actually was not playing it seriously. But I did, invest some time and money. But I got zeroed by a Chinese guild. And from then on, I actually took the game seriously and just invested and played and learned how to fight. But wasn't really involved in drama. But finally was involved in a guild where the leadership fell apart, and ultimately I became, voted leader. And it just developed since then.
Okay, so that good backstory. What time frame are we talking here? How long ago did you start?
Um, I I can't really quite remember exactly how long, but it's probably been about a year to maybe a year and a half.
Okay, year old arc, and how much power do you have?
Roughly 400 plus.
400 million, year and a half old, and you are in what guild on what server?
I'm in ROI on server 891.
ROI 891. Now that's a famous guild. That's a community guild. Who else is in that guild?
We have, Dr. Rob is in the guild. We have a couple of Chinese players that I can't pronounce. And Batsy is in the guild, who originally was one of the founding, of ROI. We have, so a couple of good, well-seasoned players who know how to fight.
Okay, and you guys are holding down 891, and Galactic Battle Season 9 was going on. Everything was going gravy, and then what happened?
Season 9 last season?
Yeah, okay, let me say when did SR1? So SR1 was at war with NYC, the Galactic Battle Season 8 champions, Gan and company. And I guess I
Right.
should probably preface this conversation too. I've never disliked Krylar, Badger. I've never spoken out against them. I've always been very supportive of what they do for this community. Krylar does amazing work with upcoming events and data mining, and he's very organized. And he and Badger run an amazing Discord. Discord alone is just a huge resource for this community. If you haven't checked it out, check the description below this video. But Badger also kind of started. Badger's a warmonger, right? And I respect that. He wants to play the game. He wants to get into fights. People's ambitions for playing the game changes, especially when they consider how much time and money they've spent. So over time, I noticed that Badger and NYC were going at it, and a bit of a civil war developed. I think Badger was in NYC, and then eventually either one guild won or one guild wanted to quit. So SR1 versus NYC. There was like this huge migration to SR1 to fight NYC, but then eventually SR1 left. They left, and
Correct.
that's how they ended up on 891. Is that right?
Yeah, actually, we had a vice chair, Snoopy, who originally was vice of Roy, who left, and eventually joined Badger's team. Came back to us, and got in contact with me and said, "Hey, let's do a joint collaboration. We're looking for a new home, but we're looking to work with ROI because we had history with each other.
Okay, and
So we
that's
trusted."
is the name Roxanne familiar to you?
Yeah, Roxanne. See, when I wasn't really seriously involved with the drama, I was in this guild and kind of followed somebody, ended up in this guild, and Roxanne was the leader. And at some point in time, we found out that it was just a fudge, a figurehead, and really wasn't really leading. So that's when the whole vote broke out, and that's eventually when I took over the guild.
Okay, so now I'm kind of putting into perspective. So for players that are trying to catch up on why this story is relevant, I should mention that you weren't always a 400 million power arc. You went from a 50 million power arc to 400 million sometime in the last few months.
No, over the course of about almost 8 months, about a year.
Okay,
It's
so about a
been it's been
year.
a long, yeah,
Okay,
yeah. It's been a gradual process ever since I got zeroed.
and so since you got zeroed, you've been growing. It's been about a year. You gained hundreds of millions of power, which is huge. I know being a 200 million power, 300 million power, I know what it takes. So for those of you at home wondering why is this story interesting or relevant, there's a tremendous amount of money at play in this game. A tremendous amount of money. We're not talking just tens of thousands. We're talking hundreds of thousands of real dollars, and not just one account, but in dozens of accounts across this server. And over the last 6 months, is it 6 months you've been at war with Seraphim, or just 1 month?
No, again, we haven't been in full war. We had a collaboration that fell apart, and for other various reasons. Then we originally had a sharing of the server where we split three capitals, and we were supposed to, share Centicon. And then after a while, we got martial law imposed on us, and saying that they held all the rights of the high yield enriched area and high tiles, and get ready to be kicked off. So we were like, hey, that wasn't the original agreement, and we helped you come here. So why aren't we treated even? So that recently the war broke out be due to those reasons.
Okay, what do you think the total cost? I'm just trying to put a frame on this for people to try to get a grasp on this conversation, because people might be watching like very intently. Some people might be listening in the background. Total damage done to all parties on the server, tier 12 damage, zeros. What are we looking at troop wise? Tens of thousands of tier 12, a couple of thousand?
We're probably in a couple of thousand, on their side.
Okay, so we're talking maybe 5 to 10,000 tier 12 troops over the last few months lost, not hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Maybe no, yeah, I would say about 2 to 4,000. We didn't really, we're smart about it, but we pick and choose.
Okay, so 2 to 4,000 tier 12. So full all scale hell hasn't broken out yet, but don't kid yourself. Badger's a tier 12 player. Is Char still an SR1?
I don't. They changed the name so many times. I don't even know who's going there. It's like a merry-go-round. I don't think he is.
Okay, well, Char, there's a lot of other tier 12 accounts in SR1. I think they have at least a dozen or two.
They have roughly about almost 20, I think.
Okay, so 20 tier 12 accounts. That's at least 20 or 200,000 to $500,000 in accounts. And then ROI, and there's another guild, a Chinese guild in the alliance, right?
No, SR had kind of chased off two of the other Chinese guilds. So mainly it's just us left here. We were the last standing guild.
Okay, and when you say us, who is us?
ROI.
Okay, and I mean, like, is it Snoopy? Is Snoopy still there?
No, Snoopy is with Seraphim, and we have qualms, but I'll leave it at that.
Ah, Snoopy guild jumped. Was he originally Roy?
He was originally Roy. He went
Snoopy.
to Seraphim, came back as, hey, let's collaborate. We know each other, and pretty much stabbed everybody, was killing and fighting our own guys. So we're not very good terms, but I haven't seen him on the battlefield too much after he took a couple of spankings.
He took a couple of spankings. Gratitudes of who? Who helped him out with that?
Oh well, I spanked him.
Okay, so all right, so Snoopy's on the other side of the field. What does it look like now going into Galactic Battle Season 10, knowing that there are super guilds out there, knowing that being in the top 80 is really worth it because you get commanders like Dragon Slayer, who's become a utility staple in the meta? Are you guys interested in reforming alliances? How does that look? Where are we at now?
I don't know how far the crack is between us and Seraphim. It doesn't seem like their leadership wants it to actually collaborate, because they've stated that they don't really have any interest. So what we do is we have to internally rely on our fellow loyal players. So we've actually, as a guild, matured over the last season, and we've gone from a what used to be a 1T12 to 2T12 guild to a 7 to 10 T12 guild
Okay.
because our guys are just on that brink to maturity. So I think our GC season is going to be different this year, but obviously it's always a uphill struggle versus some of these higher big guilds.
Okay. And who do you main?
I'm sorry?
Who's your main commander?
My main commander, I've actually switched to various commanders, but this season it seems to be Rogers, and I'm obviously looking at, deeply at Dragon Slayer.
Rogers and Dragon Slayer. Okay. So, moving forward, I don't want to pursue peace talks, not on behalf of SR1, not on behalf of Roy, because, I mean, part of what I think is interesting is that war breeds interest, right? Peace is bad for business, that whole spiel. Do you ever watch the channel? Have you heard of this channel?
What, your channel or the Discord channel?
No, my Arc of War channel.
Yeah, no, I've been watching you progress. I've watched you as your videos have progressed, the backdrop, your uniforms, everything, and now you have your own the other one that you launched. So I've watched, but I've just been kind of silent.
Okay, all right. So you know what we do here. All right. The peace is bad for business. I don't want to pursue peace talks with SR1 and Roy. I want to see where this goes because I am of the belief that this is only the beginning. I feel like if there was a pursuit of peace, it wouldn't work out. And either someone's going to merge and take the rest of someone's guild, or there's going to be a migration. Where are you at with that? Do you even intend to do anything about it? Have you kind of ignored SR1? Is there still active war? The mic is yours.
It's pretty funny because, you also have to take this game with a grain of salt. Right? It's a game. And if you take the fun out of it, it's going to be a burden. So to me, even though I have all the things that go with the drama, I try to cut it out and just really enjoy the game. And my enjoyment is learning how to fight and spank somebody and really use the knowledge and not really playing troop power like SWE and all this other stuff, and really show them that it's about finesse and learning the tricks of the trade of this game. And it's so versatile that anybody could build a banging commander out of any one of this if they know how to tweak it. So to me, the peace talks and all this stuff, it all, I mean, the trash talks all back and forth, it just goes nowhere. My main thing is to win battles. As far as what they want to do, it's hard to have peace talks with a guild who their main insurgents when they come in is to build fake diplomatic relations in order to cause division within your leadership guild and also within the players of your guild, and then be able to manipulate in the background. So I never thought that there was a piece on their agenda with all this type of play in the background. So I always tell my players, listen, stand strong. We've been a guild that's been on a server with so much war. We've never had peace. So to us, this is just normal. Like, this is just another Chinese gang coming in trying to be bullying us. So we just survive and see what happens. But you can't talk peace with a leadership that doesn't know peace, that only knows division and conquer, and more like a necromonger that comes in and absorbs things and just causes death to the rest of the server.
Okay, necromonger and fake diplomats. I want to tackle those two major terms there. When you say fake diplomats, what do you mean by that? What spawned that idea? Something happened.
Right. So when they first came on, I was wondering how there was so much assistance in setting up a Discord diplomatic channel to access all our players, to help us, my players, get on and linked and everything. But then I found out that it was just a way to access your guild players so that the brainwashing manipulation could start. Because I would pose a question or a comment of, hey, something this doesn't seem fair, and pretty much got shunned from their leadership. And then there was an announcement to all my members that they don't recognize me as a leader, I blah, 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 and all this stuff to my own guild members.
How long ago was this?
This was recent, within the last 6 months, I believe.
Okay. So in the last 6 months, part of this strategy is that SR1 came in and said, hey, we've got this great Discord, bring all your guildmates on, talks of a merge. Now they have all your players' info, direct contacts, direct text messages to them. and they
Yeah.
started recruiting them and talking bad about you.
Yeah.
How many
Yeah.
players
Yeah.
did they take, and was Snoopy one of them?
Well, Snoopy never came back to us, so he was always deserter, and he's always, to me, I never counted him. In terms of what happened was because they also we share with other guilds. We have sub guilds and we have guilds that even though we fight with some of them, we're still friends with some of them. They don't understand that kind of camaraderie. It's community. You fight, but after the season, you can say hi and slap each other high five. But that never crosses their mind, and that kind of played out in one of the scenarios I was in, where after the GC season, our agreement with them with SR pretty much died, and one of our players went back to another guild, and they actually had seats to grab the Dragon Slayer. So he invited me over. I jumped guild to grab the Dragon Slayer, and that's what enlisted Badger setting a whole notice out saying that because I, abandoned my post, I did this, I didn't secure slots for my players, which I did. So there were a whole bunch of lies to my guild members, and some of them did leave the guild. So they caused fragmentation, and I lost members. And with them being here, the competition to recruit others as they diminish and demolish other guilds, it all sided with them. So this is part of the whole strategy, the whole gameplay. And I knew that it was coming in, and that's why they started kind of negating and sectioning me off and isolated me from my own guild. But I already told my whole guild is watch how it plays out, and it played out exactly the way I said it. So they kind of knew what SR was all about.
So I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it sounds like what you're saying is that SR1 not only plays the game, but they're also playing the community, they're playing the individual players, they're playing the politics of the server, and it's been a slow push for 6 months to basically weed out the talent of your guild to tear it apart.
All right. Yep. Yep. And they went into my sub guild and was trying to tell players, hey, you could have a capital, we won't hit you guys, but give up the names of the other players, arcs and stuff. And I got a screenshot from Badger telling it to my sub guild. So I mean, this is and the front end, he's like, "Oh, let's do peace." On the back end, he's like, "Yo, it's all their fault. We're not doing it." And then he's telling us, "We don't want to merge with you. We have nothing to do with you." So it's all mind games. But the thing is, all my guild members share all the stuff to each other, so we all see it.
So Badger. Okay, now hold on. For the record, like I said, I don't dislike Badger. Right, I've never been on a server with him, but I've always got along with him. But what you're saying, and I've got to give Badger a chance to defend himself if I publish this. Just like you're saying that he straight up two-faced lied to you. He was telling your players, "Hey, tell us where your unshielded guildmates are. We won't hit you if you give us their data." Is that?
No, this is what I'm saying.
You have proof of that?
They knew that we had a sub guild, right? And they had access. So when we were playing nice on a server, we gave our sub guild one of the capitals. And then when we went to war with SR, they said to my sub guild, "Hey, we won't hit you guys." So just playing like, trying to cause division within my sub guild. And then later on, they also hit them, and they hit them their tiles too. So again, at the end, we both know what they're all about. My thing is, I don't care about all the drama. My thing is, I could beat you in battle, and yeah, you guys have numbers, but I can still reset your capitals. So it's not about it's about how to play the game, have fun with the game, and all this other drama. If you really have to live in the drama, I'm sorry, you're losing out on life. It's still a game.
Okay, so then it sounds like from your perspective, and I feel terrible because I'm going to put this out, and if Badger's watching this or any of the other people that are siding with Badger, they're not getting a fair shake at defending themselves, right? Like this obviously sounds like they're just the worst people ever. I'm sure there's more to the story.
You're gonna like this. I mean, obviously, there's always different sides, but mine is backed up by screenshots and all this stuff. But I was hitting some of their arcs because we're at war. So half their arcs don't even know what happened, who started it, and all they know is that they blame me. And then I was like, well, you know what? If you guys are, the casualties of war, then talk to your leader. And one of them ripped me a whole email, pretty much reinforcing everything I said about their own leader, and that's from their own guys. So, it's not just me. But again, I'm here to play the game, have fun, connect with people who could enhance and strengthen our chances and wins. just like that perk that little glitch that you brought up. I need to cash in on that, and I'm trying to find out how to, because of my arc power. It's a limited factor, you know.
Right. So now that you're over 330 million, you have to wait until the developers compensate everyone for that glitch. And rumor is they're going to compensate everyone. I posted that on the YouTube channel. I posted that on the Patreon. I posted that on Instagram. What their response was. They are dealing in the Wuhan province with that coronavirus outbreak. They're up to 24,000 reported cases. It is becoming an epidemic, and they're Chinese people have always been very strong about wearing face masks and not spreading disease. And I believe our developers and the people in charge of support and stuff are also extended. They extended their holidays 3 more days. So it may be a delay from them until we hear back what they're going to do. But I would tell everyone, don't server jump. Don't go looking for, what server was that has, oh God, I should 11:30. You could go there and basically all the gold you've spent in the last 12 months. I'm hearing the report is now 12 months. You will get a bunch of free stuff, including millions of melange, dozens of energy stones, just a ton of rewards. Watch the video on Tuesday Newsday if you're watching this and hadn't seen that yet. But wait for that. So hold the fort. Don't go doing anything excessive just yet. Don't open a ticket yet. They're working on a creative resolution, and I think that'll work out because enough players have made a stink about it. But I want to go back to 6 months in. They're still playing the players, the communities, the politics, and the game, and you're not really interested in the drama side, but no matter what you do, that just seems to come back to it. I noticed the other day I saw a replay, and it was it was Badger Gay or Two-Face Badger. What was the name?
Oh, there's several. So what happened was,
these are your nicknames for Badger. Okay, go ahead.
I try to stay neutral, and obviously Badger has control of the server, so he likes to tag me with fool. So again, he doesn't own all the banners, right? If I'm the high power arc, I have my own banners and way to spread the news. So I reciprocate because he likes to change all his other old arcs to different kind of chicken names, burnt chicken, this chicken, whatever chicken. So I just now repay him. I picked the best 12 characters that describe him best, and I'm only limited to 12 characters. So out of Ridiculous Badger, I picked the best 12 characters that really fit him.
Which is?
I have several. My latest one, I can only fit Ridiculous Badger. So that's what my latest one has been. And there's some pretty good videos because they kind of put different names in there. So I have one where Ridiculous Badger spanks a pretty girl. And so that's pretty good. I'll try to send it to you, but I have different videos. It's kind of fun, and that's why I play this game.
Okay. Now, can I play devil's advocate here and say that the amount of frustration and emotional distress caused by having someone personally attack you, personally insult you, personally steal your friends from your guild, although it's frustrating, is actually probably, sadly, one of the best things about this game, because on my server, people don't even copy my name. I don't get hate mail. There's no one to go to war with. No one's talking shit to my face. It's been pretty boring for the last few months. So I've been doing the YouTube thing to really keep myself interesting.
But it is draining though, because like I said, it's when you go to fight with these kind of guilds, it's almost about 12 to 20 on one, because like I said, we're up at different times, so we don't have as much form as the other guilds because we've only reorganized this past year because of all the poor leadership that's been happening. So again, it's a challenge, but my thing is, do you stay on this server and try to battle out, or do you migrate and lose the level of your guild that you build? So it's plus and minuses to both choices.
So I'm going to throw this out there for people that don't know this. Every donation event, every single time, our guild maxes it out. It's a forced thing. You have to spend like 3 million gold or 3 million resources, or it's more than that. It's like 5 or 6 million each day. And then every day, everyone does at least 10 of each. So whatever level you think your guild is, if you get into a serious PvP high-level guild with 80 members and it forces everyone to donate daily, you can catch those skills up real quick. And the value of forts and stuff, I get that has a value too. But A lot of people will go into a merge and say, like, okay, whoever has the higher guild skills, that's the one we merge into, thinking they have the higher skills, not realizing the other guild was setting a trap for them to say that, and they got to get merged into them, which, I mean, not the worst way to do a merge. At least you guys agree on something. It's rock, paper, scissor it, or whoever has the higher skills, then you merge. But just a word to the wise there. If you think those skills are valuable in your guild, don't worry about it. Going into the galactic battle, you're definitely going to want to be top 80, and it's going to be really hard for you to do that. Even if you merge with SR1, it would be a challenge for them to get top 80 as well. Is that Magnum PI? Is he on your server?
I don't know. I think I saw him floating around at some point.
Do you know who Magnum PI is? Do you ever watch the meme review show?
I know the original Magnum PI.
Burt Reynolds.
The sitcom.
Yeah. Burt Reynolds in the whatever that car was he had. That's Magnum PI. I think that's the real guy. You have some famous names on your server.
But when there's battling, I don't see these famous names.
They don't show up to fight.
No. Because this server's been through a lot, meaning like the Chinese war down, it's only, really few fighters that stayed on. Ore was on this server. Also originally, I think AIW, there was huge battles going on, and huge guilds have collapsed in the server, and we're just the remnants that left over and stayed, and we're kind of like, would like fighting, alongside each other. We synchronize, but there's only few of us here that's left.
Okay, so here we are. I'm actually on your server right now in the ruins of where are we at? 891, SR1, SR2. Obviously Badger's gonna have a response to this. He's gonna hear what you said. He's gonna want to critique something. So I'm gonna give you the microphone to look back on all the things you said: Dickless Badger, fake diplomats, the Necromongers, Snoopy deserting, the failed merges, and I'm going to give you a few minutes to just wrap the whole thing up, make your final statement, and there you go. The mic is yours.
Honestly, it's a game, and if you are able and you have good leadership skills and you're honest to your word, when you come in and you represent like you go into work with a guild, then follow through with it. But all this backhanded stuff and making, alternate, he made ultimate plans and stuff with other guilds besides us coming in, but telling us that, hey, we're dealing with you. So all this other stuff, to me, just be honest. And maybe you would have gotten farther in terms of collaboration with somebody, because we're all humans and we all know when we're getting duped. And we have seasoned people, that are smart on this guild. So my thing is, if you treat people right, maybe we would have gotten farther. To me, I'm always an honest guy, and I've given this guild more than anybody, and I've been on the server fighting and losing for this guild more than anybody. So for someone else to come in and tell me that I'm not, able to lead and all this stuff, it's an insult. And the damage that was done and the damage to all of ROI's gameplay, without any remorse and without just taking any blame, to me, it doesn't sit well with anybody. But in terms of moving forward, you let me know how you want to do it, because you could see I'm not going anywhere right now, and I could spank you out of a capital. So I don't know, and I've proven it multiple times. But if the crack is too far broken and it can't be filled, just let me know. I think I already felt that. But my thing is, the biggest threat is merging and the mergers that happen and the other enemies that come on. So if you ain't got a collaboration on the server, when a merger comes on, a guild with a lot more slots have a lot more options than a guild that's full and has no room for any more. So, it is a game. Ultimately, enjoy it. And my thing is, I don't take it seriously beyond the server. I think that everything is fair game. And if you want to build trust, you got to be honest from the front and to the back end. You can't just be shady in the middle.
Okay. Do you think there would ever be a chance of coming together for Galactic Battle Season 10, ROI, SR1? Could it ever happen?
They've expressed it multiple times that we're the lesser guild, and they would have no incentive to merge with us, and they don't think that we could collaborate any further. So that was really hard fast said by Badger himself. So to me, I don't have to stick out my hand for charity. I think it's that if you build and stay strong, sooner or later, you put out videos. If I share my videos on your thing, people will see that, hey, they follow a good fighter. They're not going to follow a leader who hides behind 20 other T12s and they pull strings and then does all this stuff and then it keeps his face clean. That to me, everybody sees that. I see through that. Okay, so even his players are telling me this is all Badger's doing. So it's not even me. So to me, just stay clean and see where it goes.
Be truthful, be honorable, be honest, be upfront. That's the message, boys and girls. Will there ever be peace on SR1 and ROI? I'm guessing probably not. I'm thinking Badger's probably going to tell me a completely different story. I look forward to see where it goes, because I'll be honest, I typically stay away from server politics. That was something I never wanted to do on this channel, but it has evolved that we started off as educational, then we got into a little more entertainment with the live streams, and then instructional with like the actual commander cards, then we were doing the hosted live streams, and then the meme review, and the community got involved, and the character of Melt, and the players inside the community has totally evolved, that there's a legacy and a history to Ark of War that hasn't yet been fully fleshed out. The amount of money spent on this game warrants finding out who these players are and the stories that happen that explain this ridiculous game that has never been seen before. Our phone, we carry it around 24/7 on our device. It never ends, and the game is real. It's real money. It's real emotions. It's high stakes, as high as you can get. And this is a story of where two really popular players, I'd say Badger and Char, but Char doesn't sound like he's had a big... Char was the Charizard of this game. He was a bad dude. He used to cause a lot of trouble, but he's very social, and he was very helpful, and he was kind of a double-edged sword. You want to be on his good side, but you got to be careful if you're on the other side of his sword, because, well, I played against him in Sky Kingdom. There's another story there, but he doesn't sound like he was playing a major role. Mostly it just sounds like you, Crack Chicken, and Ridiculous Badger not being able to come to terms, and there was just a bunch of other nonsense going on that eventually caused a degradation of the relationship. 6 months later, it's still in shambles.
But Mel, just one more thing. The only problem was because they started segregating me, they never dealt with me. They were like, oh, we're only going to talk to this person or this council. So again, it's because the failed leadership fails to communicate with the other leadership, right? If you want the snake to do what you want, you talk to the head, not to the tail. And you can't segregate people out and say, oh, I'm only going to talk to one person at the council. Well, that's not how it works. So that's where they fail. They think they're all good in leadership, but they weren't. If they were so great, how come they didn't talk to me? Most of the negotiations never happened with me. It happened through another toe of somebody else.
I got to tell you, Crack Chicken, I hear what you're saying, but using the metaphor, if you want to talk to a snake, talk to its head, really paints you out to be the bad guy in Western lore.
No, I'm talking about serpent. They're the serpent.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. You got to talk to the head. The head talked to the head. They didn't. They're just going all around about. So.
Well, that being said, let's put that on the side burner now. I mean, that was the heart of this conversation that I really wanted to tackle, to kind of figure out what happened. Because Badger's a pretty popular guy, and just like anyone in this game, he's got enemies and admirers. What's next for you?
But I started admiring him, Mel. When he came over, I gave him all respect because I know about his name. I was like, yo, we all started working. I let that down my guard. I opened up my guild to him. I told everybody to join it. So, like, I welcomed him. But when you start doing stuff behind my back and you start, blaming me for everything when I didn't do anything, that's not how the game's played. If you want to, be collaborating with someone, you have to be honest and you have to stay true to your word.
Well, it poses an interesting dilemma, right? Because you know that Badger is an expert. He's a legitimate expert of this game. He's not just theory. He has the account. He has the gear. He's played it. He's seen it. He's developed concepts on his own. And he works with really high-level players on a daily basis. He's one of the best organized players. So when a player like that shows up on your server, a very well-connected, very well-educated player, you almost have to be careful how you treat them, right? Because you got yourself into a situation where who he appeared to be, who you thought he was, turned out maybe not to be exactly what he was.
Right. And like I said, I'm only human. I know when I'm being treated right and wrong. And there was really no collaboration or direct contact with me. It's pretty much, hey, Crack Chicken always wants to say something. I'm not going to talk to him anymore. All of SR leadership don't recognize Crack Chicken, and they just want to talk to one of my vice. And that's why there was never good communication. That's why nothing got through, you know?
Ah.
But they, yeah, but they claim to be all because that's what they do. They only want to listen to someone who's listening to them, who wants to agree with them, who's not going to object and bring up, why and how this is unfair. And that's what I brought, like some of these agreements and negotiations. Like, wait, there's something wrong here. Like, if one thing here, right? They said that they wanted to come and work with us, and then they made a backdoor deal with the Chi, and they made a backdoor deal with ROA in terms of slots for Galactic. So I was like, wait, you didn't tell us that. You told us you wanted to work with us. So we helped them, came in, assist, got them to our guild, and laid down the platform, open up our server, and join, let them join. And then they only showed up for one GC game, pulled all their players back, and then let us, do play ourselves. And then the very last game, I think we were like 11 points away. So we said, hey, listen, we have 30 slots open. If you want to come and you want to help us play and we win, then your 30 guys can stay and grab the commander. So they had agreed. So they only helped us for 2 battles out of the whole GC season.
I'm going to throw this out there because I know this is going to come up. You're going to be criticized for the last game of Galactic Battle Season 9 where you were overzealous. Apparently you overcommitted too much Tier 12. What happened?
Again, when they were formulating the plans for GC, guess what? Nobody communicated. I just got secondhand. All I got was a message: do not send a full march. I was sending half marches, right? 1 T12 and 1, 2, and 3, and then full slots in the back. And I was a Vega main then. So that to me, and I would warp and pull out. So I don't know how all of a sudden everything got blamed on me. And whatever the fact is, that's the gameplay we were playing. So when you try to merge 2 gameplay together and you don't really collaborate, you only have one main commander, their strategic commander was talking to my vice, Rob, and that was the only communication that was going on for GC. So again, they think they're still good at communicating, but they only communicate in a very funnel kind of way. And they expect results to be grand. You cannot use 2 type of gameplay and with no training in between to execute a home run on the very last game.
So there was a communication breakdown. You were a Vega main. You thought, okay, I'm going to take this risk, but I'm definitely going to outscore. Ended up backfiring. That's what happened. A miscommunication. And okay.
Yeah, to me, that's not a full march. But also, like I said, there was no training at all. They have the gameplay. They only play 1 game with us. After that, they never shared any other stuff. This is how you play. This is how we play. If we do this, no. It's just like, oh, this is what was discussed. Here, pass it along. So again, if you want to fuse 2 different types of gameplay, my guys, then we're not as organized, right? Because we were just a fusion of all different types of guilds of war over and over. So when we went to GC, I didn't have a way of controlling some of these guys and how they play. So how is all the points playing on one person? So some of these guys are played differently. So then we're obviously not as coordinated as SR, but SR is more like a military run. And I guess they are effective. But again, it wasn't really communicated up. This is how it should be played.
Okay.
It was just discussed between 2 people and passed on.
I've got that. All right, so let's do this. We're getting to that point where we're pretty deep into this call, and I want to keep the episode within 45 minutes. So I want to give you the final outro. Let you say what's up to your guildmates, special shout-outs, anything you want to say. And just remember going into this that part of having your name and this conversation broadcast to the world is a large amount of criticism, and it's very painful, and sometimes it's something you'll experience. I could tell you about it. You're going to feel it when people start criticizing you, supporting you, getting behind you. You'll have 9 supporters and 1 naysayer, and the naysayer's effect will be far greater than all the other 9 supporters. So beware of that going into this. That comes with this territory, with the stage, with the platform. But that being said, last words, final words, shout-outs. The mic is yours.
I mean, I want to shout out to the all of the Arc of War community. You guys playing this game, sharing the videos, sharing with Melt. It really, it helps people learn, and it accelerates their learning curve of how to battle. In terms of the dramas on servers, I can tell people it sucks when you're in it. There's always three sides to a story, my side, his side, and somewhere then the truth is in between. The ultimate thing is, do you guys want to continue this kind of drama, or do you want to find a resolution? So to me, there's always going to be haters out there, and I always want to make keep this game enjoyable. And I, I'm sorry that drama got this far, but all I know is half the guild doesn't even know why we are battling. And to me, I really pick and choose. I'm not out there desecrating the whole server all over every single day. I'm out there just training. But I know a lot of people hate me for what just playing, and to me, I really think that people should be honest with this. If they want to collaborate with another guild, they should really talk to the principals and have a way of communicating in order to get the end result of what you want. Because migrating is costly, and also if you want to fuse battle play, you really have to have the principal guys involved. And segregating people out and not communicating with them is not a way to get through. So there's a lot of disconnect and a lot of ill feelings going into battles and collaborations, and that's why things fell apart. You have a guild that's different in terms of maturity, different in terms of gameplay, also different in terms of numbers. Trying to collaborate with a guild that's fragmented in formation and trying to form, but also have very different types of players and tier levels. So, in order to orchestrate some of that, I think there had to be better communications all the way down to say, okay, this is how this type of fighting is done, and this is how we do it, and then this is how you guys can help. Instead of just saying, hey, okay, here's one rule, blah, 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 and I'll see you on the battlefield. So, to me, I'm sorry if things are said and done and never done and to hurt anybody. But gameplay gets out of hand at times, and here I'm just trying to defend my guild and the players in it, and I don't really malicious go out and do harm to other people and other players. I just want to know, hey, are there other players out there that want to learn how to fight, who want to be under somebody who can teach them, the ins and outs? Come over and join. Take a look at 891 and come by ROI. And I might not even be here all this whole time. I don't know what we're gonna do. Obviously, we have to pick the best decisions for the guild, but ultimately, see, I don't want to start trouble. I'm just here to defend my guild. I'm not here to do this to extend trouble. I just know that if you want to collaborate with someone, just be honest all the way through and no back play and talk to the principals, and that's how you get things done. All right.
All right, so he thanks the community. He opens strong, says, thank all of you guys. Well played. Then he says, be honest, be humble, be good with your communication. He doesn't even remember how it all started. Who knows what originally caused this falling out? But it doesn't have to be the end, and it certainly doesn't have to be personal. Also, you added the recruitment. ROI is open for business, but they may not be here. Who knows when this goes live, and who knows what a month looks like from now. If there's better opportunities for a tight family guild that just doesn't like the server anymore, they might get opportunities to merge elsewhere. It's not impossible, and frankly, developers are kind of encouraging it. So if you're interested in ROI or more of this story, you can check the comments below. Perhaps members of ROI and Crack Chicken himself will respond. Maybe even SR1 will get involved. But in the next installment of this, I do intend to interview probably Ridiculous Badger, get his take on it, and figure out how this happened. So, Crack Chicken, I want to say thank you for taking this time to give me this interview, to chat this thing out, to kind of solve this thing and put it in the history book. So, thank you very much. And
You're welcome.
that's it. I want to end it on that. Is there anything else? Oh, I have one.
No, like I said, peace to the rest of the community. Play the game and enjoy it. Don't try to fall into drama. I wish I wasn't even in it. I was actually a peaceful player, just working on my art. But try to enjoy the game
Okay.
and just be honest all the way through.
I've got to do one more thing because I said I'd do this. One of the number one causes of getting zeroed and relationships not working in this game is drug abuse. Do you use alcohol, marijuana, cocaine, heroin, or any illicit drugs that could affect your mood or memory? Be honest.
Wait, is this the real question?
Fuck yeah, it's a real question. I want to know if you get drunk and fucking around and then not remember the next morning. That
No,
happens.
no, I don't do stuff like that. I thought you were gonna ask like some other question.
Nah, that's the number one cause of Chinese players getting zero. They get drunk, they pass out, they get zero, and then they realize they were too wasted the night before, or they said some shit, or they don't remember. I want to know, were you sober this whole time?
Oh yeah. No, what happened was I was fighting and I fell asleep fighting, and I woke up to my arc being red because after I launched a battle, I fell asleep.
Oh,
It
that
was
was
like around one.
before the SR1 merge, though.
Yeah. This was before. Ever since then, I never got zeroed again. Like I always check my shield and make sure it's up daily.
Okay, you heard it here first. There was no substance abuse, folks. I don't know why that's so interesting to me. I just assume whenever there's a falling out between guys, there's drug abuse involved or fucking memory issues or who knows. Now I'm cursing. I shouldn't be doing that.
No. I believe it's pure miscommunication. When you start to segregate people out and don't communicate them, you're not going to get results. And that's the thing, like I was never really in deep with the communication. I was always pushed away early. And that's why there was a big fallout because, the principals weren't involved.
You know what's wild about this that I'm gonna be discovering as I do more of these interviews? We just did 45 minutes.
Wow.
Dang, right? Dang.
Wow. Yeah.
That's wild, man. Well, hey, I'm gonna wrap this thing up.
I don't want this to come out as that I went to talk to you to bring out the drama of Badger.
I came to you.
I really did respect him when he came in. I gave him like props and everything, and I'm really saddened that the whole relation fell because honestly, who wouldn't want a 400 on their side? That's what I'm like a little baffled about. Like, and there's other people that play with me, and there are other powers in this guild. So I don't know why we wouldn't be stronger together. But I think it's just that when you come so formed, do you have room for another mind? I don't know, and I think that's where it was. It was too early, and whatever that had fallen out. I don't know if it can be fixed, but I'm here just to try to enjoy the game and not try to make a big riff out of things.
Okay. Well, there it is.
Right.
That's the closing statement. I'm going to wrap it up. Guys, thanks for watching this. We will see you guys on the next installment of Zen Town Heroes. I haven't picked a name for this series yet, but that was an interesting story, right? That was fun. All right, guys. In the comments below, if Crack Chicken didn't answer any questions or if I forgot to ask him something, please put it in the comments. Hopefully he'll reply there or other members of ROI will. And that's it. We'll see you guys tomorrow.